Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 1 of a best of 1 coming up. It is a bit of it's a bit of Protoss versus Terran. There's no Zerg involved in this game as far as I know unless something really funny happens. But yeah, spawning down in the bottom right hand position as the blue Protoss player, it is a barcode account. And in the top left, the red Terran representing Team Empire, it's Cass. The man of a million command centers. Cass, no joke, makes the most command centers I have ever seen. I'm not sure if he's currently doing it. There was a period of time where every time I cast Cass, he was just like, I'll make command centers. I'll make command centers for my command centers. And you just see, like, even on a map like Belgium, like, here, like this little period, this little area between, like, the natural and third, would just be like, command center, command center, command center, command center, command center. For all the mules. He'd then like just lose all of his SCVs and just be like, I'm muling. They see me muling, they be hating. But I don't care because I have got no supply taken up with SCVs apart from like 6 for just a little bit of gas. Anyway, beside the point. Barcode player, I did know who this was, and this is me being honest, and you can always count on me to be honest with you, that I did know who this was. They actually sent me the replay. But I don't remember who it is, which is really bad. My file management system probably could have been improved in this scenario, but it's someone. It's someone who's a Grandmaster player. Both these two players are in the Grandmasters League, so they're both very good. I just don't know who the other one is, so they're going to be a barcode player from now on. So if oh, mysterious pro player who sent me this game, if this is you, leave a comment in the video and I will correctly adjust the title of it to be your name. Or just send me a tweet or Skype me or whatever. Anyway, 2 gases coming down. 2 probes in first gas. I'm expecting 2 probes in second gas. Meanwhile, over on Cass's side, no, there's a gas, so Reaper is coming out. Reaper expands so common against Protoss. And that's because they're so damn good. Basically, you need a Mothership Core and or a Stalker in order to hold them off. Even then, you're just stopping them from killing stuff. You can't stop them scouting. It's a guaranteed scout, as well as doing a bit of cool damage. Interesting rally point on it, though, back towards the mineral line. I'm not sure if that's intentional. I'll be very interested to see if it stays over there. Could be for a second one about to queue up, although I do doubt that since Command Center is about to get started, so the money wouldn't be there. So I'm going to be very interested to see what Cass is going to do with that Reaper for the moment. Yep, he has realised, okay, so it's coming back on this little journey. Maybe it was just in case a probe was coming down or whatever. But following it up with a reactor, very normal stuff. We should see a bunker get started down near the front sometime soon. But Mr. Barcode, he's just busy getting down that Nexus and basically having some cool times and going for a very standard gateway expand. So both these two playing the norm of the norm of the norm. There is nothing peculiar going on here in the slightest. And I had to say peculiar because someone actually Skyped me the other day saying the way that I say peculiar is very fun sounding. So yeah, I did it. I'm now really self-conscious about how I pronounce things, and that I'm concerned my Britishness is coming across too strong. Maybe I should just try not to. I would try and do accents, but I fear they just come out as being incredibly racist. Anyway, Reaper is coming in now, having a bit of a fun time. Again, just getting some scouting information. The Stalker and Mothership Core can kill it, but the joys of Reapers, as long as they get out alive, then obviously they heal up damn quick, so that's all fun times. Now, the robotic facility's been seen, the Nexus has been seen. Basically, this Reaper has got a complete scout out of what's going on the Protoss' side of the map, so Cass can now respond however he sees fit. But also, it's alive still. So, it can still come back in, it can still take another look, it can scout at a later period and get another great peek of what's going on. May even spot things like this forge. So with all of these things, the Reaper just showing why it's such a good opening. Other than that, really the Protoss player has no information at all, like nothing. He doesn't even know for sure that Cass is still here. Cass could have floated off down to this base. And you laugh, but if you've ever been in Bronze League, you'll know that's the sort of things people do. Sometimes I do that if I'm in a really trolly mood and I'm playing Terran in an unranked game. Just float your command center somewhere else and look at people get so confused. Or scout you and you lose the game. Either way though, it's funny. Now, basically, what's coming down here at the moment is very normal stuff. Interesting photon cannon placement here. Clearly expecting a little bit of drop play coming through, which is definitely not what's going to be happening because the factory isn't even done yet. But still, the potential was there. It's also good just for future use, so this is going to help prevent against drops, apart from there's all this area to drop in too, but anyway, I forget about that. Starport is coming down. For the moment, the destructible debris in the way of that ramp has been taken out, and yeah, this is all normal times. A couple of Marines just chilling by the watchtower, and the Observer about to get the first bit of scouting information for our barcode Protoss player. We'll see the timings, but they're not too unusual, to be honest. They're very normal timings coming down here by Cass. Gonna just keep an eye out to see if he gets an engineering bay. That's the one kind of standard thing that we haven't seen yet, and getting those upgrades. But back over at the Protoss side, we do have the robotics bay coming through, as well as the +1 armor. So by getting this down, and yeah, there we go, engineering bay there for Cass, out of range of the Observer though. This just means there's an upgrade lead for the Protoss player with, and adding in Chrono Boost, that means that's going to just stay a lead and actually get more of a lead if the upgrades are done equally from this point on both sides. So that's obviously great news. There's also some Immortals coming out too, but relatively passive on both sides of the map at the moment. The two of them just wanting to macro it up. But Cass may go for a push in the near future because, let's face it, when the first two medevacs pop, you tend to see a move out, especially when you tie him with a starter stim. Maybe could have moved slightly sooner if Cass was aiming to do that, but no, here we go, he is moving out now. The Observer coming round, is it actually going to get a peek that this push has moved out? The answer is no, it won't. That's a little bit frustrating. Ideally, you do want to try and get a little spot of that, but there is a proxy pylon on its way, and a probe still moving up towards the third in order to get a little bit of information. So now we start looking at what is there in terms of defense. Well, currently, the additional gateways, there's only 3 of them on the field at the moment. We've got the first Colossus nearly popping, but that's still a little way off. It's only about, well, it's still got another 15 seconds until it's out, and then there is only the one. No extended thermal lance either, means that if there were any Marauders, it'd be equal range, but there isn't any, so still against just Marines, it's going to be a little bit problematic, but a little stim forward there, and Cass deciding maybe this isn't the move I want to be going for. Looking instead to try and get some damage on that Nexus, but with the Mothership core there, the option for a Time Warp and a Photon Overcharge available, Cass just not playing it risky. The concern for Cass though is there are pylons around the map, especially one very close to the third base, so this SCV coming over is going to get blocked from making the third, but also there can be warp-ins ready to do a bit more pain. But the reason we're not seeing any warp-ins as of yet, at least aggressively, is because the barcode Protoss isn't actually aware that Cass has fallen back as of yet. You did have an Observer there, but there are a couple of places where this army could be hiding, and while it's not confirmed, you want to just be a little bit more cautious. Now, that probe was... oh, that poor probe, he tried to get away, but unfortunately got found. The pylons, one of them gets spotted, there is still another one there though, and that could lead to a few more fun times. Now, as we can see, +1 attack is coming through, +1 infantry weapons just finishing up, but still a solid upgrade lead for the Protoss player at the moment. And with the Twilight Council about to finish up, that should continue on. And while it does continue on, it'll be good news. But Cass is going for a very aggressive play here. Note the Stalkers a bit out of position, and while there are pylons in position to get a little peek, and the Observer, are the Stalkers paying attention? Yes, they are, so they're going to have to immediately retreat back out. Those medevacs not going to be getting the drop that they were looking for, and instead just going to have to back away and deal with this proxy pylon. Now, as we'll also see, we've got the command center coming up here, so both players are trying to secure up their third bases. Cass slightly ahead in terms of the timing of that, but overall, neither player taking really any losses. 450 resources lost this entire game to date, and that is incredibly low for this stage of the game, and that's because both just opting to be a little bit more careful. The Protoss player adding in a Templar Archives is going to be going up into High Templar Tech, and with that there's going to be Storm plus Colossi, Rex Infantry, and this is where the balance of Vikings and Ghosts are going to be so critical. But for the moment, Cass hasn't started a Ghost Academy. He's instead adding on a second armory. Sorry, his first armory and a second engineering bay. So with this, he's going to be able to start the 2-2 upgrades up, but he's still behind that of the barcode player currently. Now, what will be interesting is when this Templar Archives gets scouted. It does need to be, because Storm should start up fairly quickly, and once we start seeing Storms down, you need Ghosts to negate that, because that alone will tear through your army incredibly quickly, and even if the Colossi are taken down by the Vikings, it may not be enough. However, there is still a good 100-second window where we may see Cass try and end this game out. Yes, there's 3 Colossi, but the Viking count is already sitting at 8. That's an incredibly potent number of Vikings. The army supply is heavily in Cass's favour, So he may just opt to try and win it here. He's getting +1 ship weapons though, so he is going to be playing this out for the later game still. But no attempt to get down a Ghost Academy as of yet. Instead, investing the money in a 4th base, trying to just get that great economy, and Cass proving my point from right at the start that he likes command centers. So, High Templar down on the field, but Storm not done quite yet. And of course, that is going to be a nice little potential timing for Cass, but with the Photon Overcharge triggered, with this army here, and having seen the fact that there's High Templar down, Cass opting to wait. Storm is going to complete, and this is the window gone. It's closed tight, and now it's going to be tough if you try and go in. One good storm, especially through here, and you can run into some very bad times, and Cass now realizing the calamity of those storms. Photon Overcharge hitting from the side, and while the Colossi are down, Cass has managed to keep up a good chunk of his army. Unfortunately, with the Stalkers and the Zealots and the Warpins coming through, it will not be enough there. So while all 3 Colossi did die, unfortunately, the majority of Cass's army went down too. He came off a lot worse in that engagement, losing 2,000 more resources. But Protoss player is looking to follow this up with more pain, getting down that pylon. It is just in range though of the command center's vision, so knows it's coming. It's also about to become a planetary fortress as well, but may not be done in time since the majority of the Protoss force now moving across. A 4th base getting taken as well, but Cass knows he needs to defend this. He's trying to get into a good spot. The Stalker's blinking into action. There is that Colossus there, a couple of Archons too. A very scary army. Cass has got to be just so careful. The Mothership Core gets taken down, and it's the Archons coming in trying to deal a bit more damage. The Colossus is going to fall, and with that, most of the splash damage gone. The Archon's still helping, but does Cass have enough with some good splits? The Zealots closing down the distance, trying to tell him that no, he doesn't. The Stalkers picking off the remaining Vikings, but it's the Archons just dishing out great damage, and the Zealots tanking up so much. It looks like our Protoss barcode is in a great spot this game to move forward. Cass literally down to 40 army supply. He's a lot down in terms of just what he's got to defend, and while he does have the reinforcements near instantly there, there's just so much for the Protoss. Add in the Zealots warped in towards the 3rd, add in the fact that there's a 4th base and more reinforcements being streamed through. Cass is having to hold as hard as he can, but the concave better for the Protoss here, and Cass's army starting to melt. I think this could very well be GG here, because no matter how many SCVs you pull, it's looking to be over. So congratulations there to the Barcode Protoss player, doing an amazing job, showing some nice timings and getting Storm at just the right moment. If you like the game, like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow with yet another daily cast. Bye for now.